In this video, we're going to see how to leverage Azure Arc to manage data services that are running on-prem. Now we're going to log into the Azure Arc Data Controller with Azure Data CLI to explore the functionality of Arc Managed Data Services. Now I have logged in to the Azure Arc Data Controller, and I'm going to see what's available in the SQL managed instance that I have deployed on-prem. So first I'm going to see what the status of the data controller. So I should get a ready as an output. Yes, it's all good. Now I'm going to explore the SQL managed instance endpoint. So I'm typing sdata arc SQL endpoint list. And yeah, in a minute I got the replies on what is the endpoint address, what's the log search dashboard, what are the matrix dashboard. I'm going to do the similar operation in the Postgres instance as well, so I can list down what are the endpoints for that particular database. And after that, I'm going to leverage Azure Data Studio to explore the actual content of these two database instances. Now I have opened the Azure Data Studio. As you can see, my Azure Arc connections are there. If I go to manage, I can see what is there, which resource groups they are connected, what's the data controller, what's the subscription, and all these stuff. And then if I move to the other one, I can see that as well. If I go to Azure Arc managed instance that is running on SQL, select top 1000 in one of those tables, I can see the records there. And if I go to the second database, which is the PostgreSQL database, and perform the same operation on another table, I can see I can perform a successful select query. Now, how we can manage Azure Stack HCI with Azure Arc. So this is a Windows Admin Center instance where I have a 4-node Azure Stack HCI cluster managed using this particular Windows Admin Center. So here you can see there's a couple of virtual machines running in that 4-node cluster. So this cluster is running on Dell PowerEdge servers. And if I go and see what's there running there, you can see a couple of virtual machines running there. But some of these virtual machines are actually running the Azure Kubernetes service, to be exact. Yeah. And if I drill down to some of the other components of this cluster. So for an example, if I move into the Dell EMC Openmanage Integration, which helps us to get a holistic view of your Azure Stack HCI cluster. So the Dell EMC Openmanage software is now integrated with Windows Admin Center, and it can provide one-click update management for your entire infrastructure, including hardware, and the firmware updates and all the drivers and whatnot, and the downtime you would require is a single node at a time. So as you can see, the same inputs that you could get from your regular Openmanage software, now you can get from Windows Admin Center to the Dell EMC Openmanage integration extension. So I'm drilling down to the CPU information in my cluster, and if I go to the inventory and expand one node, I can see the exact inventory that I have in a single node in this particular cluster. So which is a pretty cool feature compared to managing two interfaces, so going through two different softwares to gather this information. So if I move to update management, you can see what are the hardware updates I can get from there, which I'm not going to perform right now. And if I move back to the Azure portal under Azure Stack HCI, you can see there's a manage Azure Stack HCI cluster, which is this one. And if I drill down to that one, you can see what are the nodes connected, and you can assign tags, and you can assign logs for the virtual machines, things like that. So basically provide the same Azure governance control over there. Now, if I move to Kubernetes clusters, these two clusters are actually running on Azure Stack HCI. So if I don't think I have enabled insights for this yet, but if I have enabled insights, as we saw in the previous video, you can see the same Azure monitor capabilities for those two clusters that is running on Azure Stack HCI. Right, so that's pretty much about the clusters that are running here. in this particular Azure Arc instance. Now, if I move to SQL servers, I don't have any SQL server running there, but I do have a SQL managed instance, which is a preview actually. So if I drill down to that, you can see what are the endpoints, what are the subscription that is connected to that, and you can do the same level of Azure monitoring on that. So now you have seen the power of Azure Arc. I hope you have learned something in this video, and I hope that you will leverage Azure Arc as your primary management tool when it comes to managing your data center. Thank you, and see you in another video.